Alright, so Washington will be retiring during this section, and we will also get to the new president, the second president, talk about some political parties and the issues that John Adams had. He didn't have the best presidency, so we'll talk about what his problems were. Why don't you take a look at Washington retires on 303. It continues to 304. So take a look there and find out, as you're reading, I want this question, you to write it down and to answer it as you're reading. In his farewell address, he warned the nation of a couple things, 2 things specifically. I want you to write the 2 things that he's warned them of. So make sure you do write out the question. I'll give you a little bit of time to look there in your notes. So what was one thing he warned them of, Brett?
The political disagreements.
Yeah, one thing was to stay away from political parties. And the second thing was, Braden?
I didn't get the second thing.
Okay, who got the second one, Dev?
Remain neutral and no permanent alliances.
Yeah, the second one had to do with foreign policy. Okay. Let's start with that second one, actually, on foreign policy. They actually listened to his advice on foreign policy. Okay, they did listen to his advice on foreign policy. And when we're talking about foreign policy, what is foreign policy? Max, what's foreign policy? What's foreign policy? Anyone tell me what foreign policy is? Max, go ahead then.
Relations with governments of other countries.
Yeah, it's the relations with other countries, and especially the governments of the other countries. And when he was talking to the nation about foreign policy, Deb said he told them to kind of remain neutral, and what else did he kind of say? You should probably do this also, Deb.
Stay clear of permanent alliances.
Yes, remain neutral and stay away from, try to avoid permanent alliances. Okay. He warned that agreements with foreign nations might work against the United States. So his advice has kind of gone and helped us all the way through, even through where we're at now. So it's staying away from permanent allies is a really positive thing. So that's what they did listen to. The one they didn't listen to was avoiding political parties. That was one thing that it was obviously impossible to do. The growth of political parties started to happen even during his presidency, even though they didn't specifically come out. I mean, they started to form them, I suppose, but they just started to grow during his, and they got even bigger afterwards, and there's something that's probably never going to go away. It's impossible. Okay, so I want you to take a look at the growth of political parties and find out as you're reading what was going on during his presidency that led to these, and then you'll need to know what those first 2 political parties were and kind of who was involved in what and what they believed in. Okay, so take a look on 304, the growth of political parties, give you a little bit of time to read through that. During his first term, even during his first term, it wasn't just during his second term, but you could see the way things were going, that what was happening was leading to this. Okay. Even though he was warning against it, the country was divided on how people should govern the country. So during his first term, Hamilton, and what was Hamilton's title in Washington's cabinet? He was in his cabinet. What was his title? What did he do? Brennan? He was Secretary of Treasury, so he was involved with economics. And Hamilton was arguing and debating with who during Washington's first term? Katie? He was arguing and debating with Jefferson, and they were debating on how the country should be run. It was a big, big debate, and it was also over that the fact of should we have a national bank and interpreting the Constitution. Okay. Well, Jefferson went back to Virginia in 1793, so that left his buddy there to continue the debates with Hamilton, and who kind of took over? Cooper? Madison. So Madison took over, and here's the 3 guys from left to right, Hamilton, Jefferson, and Madison. And they continued the debate on whether or not, basically about the economy, but then also into about the French Revolution. And what was Hamilton's opinion on the French Revolution? What did he see? Katie?
He opposed the French Revolution.
He opposed it. He was kind of favoring the British government. He was opposed to the French Revolution. On the other hand, Jefferson and Madison, what did they say about them in the French Revolution? Hunter? If Hamilton was opposed to the French Revolution, what do you think Jefferson and Madison thought about it?
I was taking notes I missed.
So what did they think of it? Dev?
I liked it.
They were for it. They were for it. And Hamilton was trying to get this strong national government. And what did Jefferson and Madison think about a strong national government? What were they thinking, Jacob? They feared it might lead to tyranny, so they didn't like that. Hamilton wanted the United States to be more like, what type of jobs and stuff did Hamilton see the United States having, Austin? What type of jobs? Brennan?
Big cities and manufacturing.
Big cities, manufacturing, trade. Jefferson and Madison, Austin, thought that the country should be what for jobs? John? Same question. Types of jobs did Jefferson and Madison see the country looking like? Matthew? Planters and farmers, good. So, Austin, one more time now. What's a political party? Yeah, a group of people trying to promote its ideas, trying to influence the government, backs candidates, supports candidates to run for office. And these guys formed their own political parties. And Hamilton formed what political party? Lindsay, what political party did Hamilton form?
The Federalist Party.
The Federalist Party. And Jefferson and Madison formed what party? Eric?
The Democrat Republic.
Good. So the political parties, those are the two political parties that were formed. And it talks about what each party believed in and supported, and who kind of supported them and so on. So you're going to make a chart, Federalist and Democrat Republicans, here in a second after everyone gets this down, and you're going to fill out your chart on what it should look like. Right after you get political parties down. Alright, so make yourself a chart, Federalist, Democrat, Republican, little T-chart, and I want you to fill it out. You can find the information on 304. I'll give you a little bit of that Hamilton was the one that formed the Federalist Party. So give me some information about the Federalists and their beliefs, Bo.
Strong national government.
Yeah, they believed in a strong national government. Okay, which we'll see a difference. Abby? Yeah, they feared of mob rule. What do you think that means? Fear of mob rule. Hunter?
If the majority of people didn't like it, they would form a mob and try to get their change.
Yes, and what happened recently that would make them fear something like that happened? The Whiskey Rebellion. Very good. How do they interpret the Constitution? Katie?
Loosely.
Yes, they have a loose interpretation of the Constitution. And because they had a loose interpretation of the Constitution, what did they feel about a national bank? Leah? Yes. They wanted a bank. Okay. Because where in the Constitution were they saying that you could say that we could have a bank? What part of the Constitution, Dev? The Elastic Clause. And in the Elastic Clause it says what? What does it say about that, Katie?
If it's necessary and proper.
Good, necessary and proper. Okay, their economy should be based on what, Austin?
Shipping and manufacturing.
Yep, shipping, manufacturing. And the types of people that would support this, Jacob?
Lawyers, merchants, manufacturers.
Clergy, which is like church people. People working for the church. Okay? So that's your, Federalists. The Democrat Republicans were formed by Jefferson and Madison. Okay, and instead of a strong central government, what type of government did they believe in? Alexis? Instead of a strong central government, what did they want? What type of government? Yeah, limited. Okay. What type of rule did they fear? Katie?
One or a couple of powerful.
Yeah, one rule, and I'm just going to put king there because that kind of makes some sense. Not a loose interpretation, but what type of interpretation? Brooke?
Strict.
Yes. And so what did they say about a national bank, Brennan? Yes, no bank. Okay, and how should the economy be based in this, Brett? Farming. And obviously, who would support this? What type of people? Braden? Farmer and people that are going to be doing some trading. Okay. So you can see the difference there on the Federalists and the Democrat-Republicans, your very first two political parties. Now, these two political parties are going to choose a person to back, a candidate to support to run for the second president of the country. And I want you to take a look at the John Adams section and find out which side chose which, find out the results, and so on. So I'll give you a minute to read that John Adams section.